Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you are here because we have an amazing recipe to show you on Flip That Food. Now, we all know that burgers, beef burgers, are just such an integral part of the American palate. But they can be a little high in fat. There's also always a lot of weird stuff going on with ground beef in particular, E. coli, and mad cow, just to name a few. So I'm not saying I'm against ground beef. I'm just saying watch your food source for your ground beef. Make sure you know the butcher or grind it yourself, which we'll be doing shortly on Flip That Food. But in the meantime, we have something just as good, just as juicy, and just as flavorful, which is a mushroom burger. Tina, would you like to explain why mushrooms are such an amazing vegetarian dish since you are the vegetarian cooking authority?
Well, I'll take a stab at it. I don't know if I know everything that Rachel does about mushrooms, but essentially, mushrooms to me go good with everything. They take the flavor of anything that you want to take it, anything you want to flavor it with, and it can go from Mexican to some sort of Asian, and mushrooms run the gamut. So today we're going to use portobello mushrooms, but you can use your white cap mushrooms. You can get really fancy with it and use oyster or shiitake if you want that flavor. But today we're using portobello. I prefer that taste. It's one of my favorite mushrooms. And so we're gonna basically take the mushrooms, throw some cashews in there. Again, I like the richness of cashews. I'm gonna grind it all up, a little bit of garlic, onions, and I think that's it.
And of course, we're going to saute them in olive oil.
Yes, we will.
Our favorite heart-healthy oil on Flip That Food. And I just want to piggyback on something Tina mentioned, mushrooms. Such a earthy and rich flavor. And then she's going to mix it with cashews. You're not even going to miss ground beef. We're going to step out the way and let Tina do her thing with the mushroom burgers.
All right, well, to begin with, so first off, when you guys have your stove like this and you know you're going to be using multiple pots, you want to start warming them up. Don't wait until you're about to use that pot to turn the oven on. So we're going to use the cast iron pot to actually do the cooking of the burgers, but before we do that, we always obviously have to prep. So we're going to use this pan to prep, and we're also going to use this pan to do our side dish of kale. So I'm going to go ahead and turn all three of these burners on, okay? Let's go ahead and put some oil in there. Rach, can you grab, let's put maybe a couple tablespoons.
Okay.
A couple tablespoons of oil. Put that in there, and then we will add, I used 8 ounces of mushrooms. So this is the typical, this is a typical portion size of mushrooms in the grocery store, 8 ounces. So whether you're getting them sliced, whether you're getting them whole mushrooms, usually you buy them in 8-ounce portions. So it's the whole box of mushrooms. I just cut them up. We're going to add that to the pan, give it just a little bit to warm up.
Yeah, and if we need more heat, we can take more heat.
Yeah, we might want to use a little more heat.
Let's take some more heat.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add the mushrooms. You want to be the official assistant and stir that around?
I will be happy to be the official stirrer. It's teamwork. Teamwork makes the dream work.
Okay, so those were the mushrooms, and we're going to add probably about 1.5 cups of onions. Now this isn't more than 1.5 cups, so I'm not using all of this, but essentially 1.5 cups is about one largish mushroom, would you say? I'm sorry, one largest onion?
I think that is absolutely plenty.
Yeah, so we're not using all of this. Can you grab me a spoon, Rich?
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm going to eyeball 1.5 cups of mushrooms. And again, we did a lot of this prep work beforehand. So we cut up all the mushrooms, cut up the onions. That looks good, yeah?
How are we on the olive oil? Do we need more olive oil, Tina?
Maybe a little bit since it's not a non-stick pan.
More.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to add a little more olive oil to that, and then we're just going to put a lid on it, let it cook for a little bit. Okay? This looks good. So you're going to let that sit for about 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes. Let it sit, let it, as Rachel said, sweat, and you'll have much better flavors. All right, so we are now going to make kale. Super, super simple kale. This ginormous bag of kale was $3.50, Rachel.
That's crazy.
I know, right? Like, so whenever anyone says, oh, I don't understand how you're a vegetarian, doesn't it cost so much? I'm like, do you see this bag of kale? That's ridiculous.
I could feed a family of 10 for a week on this bag of kale.
I know, and you know what you can do with it? Like everything.
Everything like what, Tina? Let's educate the viewers.
So Rachel's better at this than I am, but she does kale chips, which I've never done. You want to tell them about kale chips?
Kale chips are just something, a nice dried kale, a little olive oil, a little salt, a little pepper, and they're really good in the dehydrator or in a nice low oven. Come out crispy like potato chips.
Nice.
Also, this is a green leafy vegetable, loaded vitamin A, C, and E. And I would also make this into spanakopita, which is a Greek dish. I could also serve it with some mac and cheese or some fried chicken as a substitute for collard greens. So you're going to see kale pretty much every episode on Flip That Food. So stay tuned for all these kale recipes.
Absolutely. All right, so to get the kale started, can you get some olive oil? Let's throw it in our back pan here.
Okay.
And again, we're just going to use a couple tablespoons of olive oil for flavor. Okay, and then let's see. So this is really simple. Honestly, two ingredients. Again, I'm going to use store-bought salsa because it's easy, and I like easy. And so you're basically going to throw the kale in there, put a top on it, let it sweat, as Rachel says, right?
Absolutely.
Come down a little bit, and then you're just going to add the salsa. And again, it's to taste. So you're going to add the salsa to give it as much flavor as you want to give it. So if you can just go ahead and open that bag up, and we'll throw the salsa in there, or the kale.
Okay. Now, do we need to rinse or drain or anything special with this, Tina?
Not this particular one. This comes pre-washed, and that's part of the reason I like it, right? Pre-washed is so much easier, and it's already chopped too. So it's not the big leaves of kale. It's already chopped. It's ready to go, and that is my preference every time.
Thank you for bringing this bag in, Tina, because I know we have a lot of viewers in DC TV land that are pressed for time. They're working folks. They want to eat healthy. They want their food flipped. And this is a shortcut to it.
Absolutely. Okay. All right, so I'm going to put as much kale as we can get in the pan. Just going to kind of toss it around real quick. That was just a casualty. All right, so now that the kale is in there, I'm just going to put a lid on it and let it cook down just a little bit. I'm going to increase the heat, and that's good.
Okay, do we want any water in there to help it get going, Tina, or are we good like that?
That's your call.
Okay, I do a little water.
Okay.
Just a little water. Keep the kale happy. I have a lovely
there we
pitcher
are.
of filtered water.
Okay.
There are so many things to do with kale, and we're all going to be learning when we watch Flip That Food. I'm glad I have the Vegetarian Cooking Authority here.
Okay, so now we're going to check on the mushrooms and onions, see how they're doing. Oh, they look good. Can you stir that just a little bit, Rach?
Oh, yeah, and they smell amazing.
They do. They look good, don't they? What do you think?
I think it looks great. Did you want to add carrots or anything for color, or are we good just like this?
Yeah, you know, we can go ahead and add a little bit of carrots for color, as Rachel says.
Okay. Well, Tina, just leave the top off for a minute and go ahead and hook that thing up with that carrot. And I know it's just going to be amazing.
It might be in the fridge.
Okay, let me grab it for you. I'm here to help you, and you are here to help me, and you're a wonderful assistant. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So, here we are.
Okay.
Can you, oh, you want me to do this?
Let me assist you in any way that I can to get these veggie burgers going the way they should go.
All right, so just put a little bit of carrot in here, maybe another tablespoon, teaspoon, chunk. All right, there we go. All right, so once this cooks down, we are going to eventually throw it in the food processor. So we just have to get all this soft, and then we can put it in the food processor. The mushroom, onion, garlic, and a little bit of carrot mixture into the food processor.
One thing I like to do when I'm working with a hot pan, which could be a potentially dangerous situation, I like to make sure I don't have too much exposure to my other element. Work a little slower, a little more tedious, but it's less to clean up on the counter, and we don't have to burn burn ourselves. What do you think about that, Tina?
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Rachel puts that in the food processor. So the next item we have is we're going to add cashews. It's about 3/4 of a cup cashew in there. We're going to add that in the food processor as well. And then we're also going to add a filler. You need a filler. Some recipes call for bulgur, some recipes call for brown rice. In this instance, I'm using brown rice. And it's going to be about 3/4 cup of brown rice as well. Again, to thicken the mix, give it a consistency that you're able to pat into patties to eat. So this is ready. I'm going to go ahead and add the cashews. About 3/4 cup. Eyeball it. Okay, Rach. Okay.
May have to do this in a few batches.
Yeah.
Which is fine.
It's not down here, actually. Okay, you should be good.
Okay.
Go ahead and chop, I think.
Chop,
Let's start
chopping.
Okay, so now we're just going to add a little bit of brown rice. This is about a cup, but you're going to add in between 3/4 to a whole cup of brown rice. So we'll add a little bit here.
Now, is there a reason that you're not using a white rice, Tina?
Well, again, you want to use as much whole products as you possibly can. So anything that's white has been bleached. It's been processed. You don't want it, period. So brown rice. And again, in this dish, you're not going to taste it. Some people complain about the taste of brown rice; they don't really like it, right, Rach? But in this dish, you're not gonna even taste it. It's just it really is there as a filler, as a binder, to make it a little more plumper. So if you can go ahead and chop or blend that, puree it, blend it, however you want to do it. Okay.
Is that to your liking, Tina, or would you like a little more?
Let's mix that up a little bit better,
Okay,
please.
fantastic.
Looks good.
Okay.
Okay. Why don't we dump what we have in this bowl, Rach? Because this is the bowl we're going to continue to prep things in.
Okay.
So if we can dump that in there, and then we'll do the rest of the rice with the other mixture we took out.
Thank you.
Okay?
Step-by-step instructions. You don't get that on every cooking show.
The part that we took out to make room. So let's go and throw that in there with the rice. All right, thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome. I love this. I mean, there's no grease. There's
No.
nothing splattering or popping. Wow. Can I go ahead and pulse this for you, Tina?
Yes, please.
Okay, fantastic.
Move this out of the way. All right.
I can't wait for you to try this and email me, viewers, because you're going to love all the recipes you see on here. They are kid and adult friendly, and of course, healthy and budget friendly. Be excited for yourself to eat this.
Okay, Rach, before we move on to that, can we throw a little bit of oil on the cast iron pan? Because we're getting really close to making our burgers, so we want to prep this pan, right?
Absolutely.
So let's just throw a little bit of oil in there. And you know, if you want, you can go ahead and we're going to add breadcrumbs to that mix.
Can I measure, or is just eyeballing okay with this?
I'm okay with eyeballing because it's really a consistency thing, right?
Okay.
How do you feel about that, Rach?
I'd say let's add an egg first to make sure we can get the breadcrumbs to tie up any excess moisture that may come from the egg. And the egg is just going to, as Tina stated, fortify this with protein. It's going to add moisture and tenderness and a good mouthfeel to it.
Let's use a whole egg for this one.
Okay, fantastic.
And again, I think we're going to use the whole egg to give it more of a binding, right? Egg whites are good, but sometimes you need the yolk.
And the yolk is also flavor, and it's all about moderation. No
Absolutely.
food's off limit.
I mean, and heck, you think with this particular dish, you're probably going to get about 8 burgers. So 1 egg divided by 8 is nothing at all, right?
Right. Did we want to taste test for seasoning now, or do you want to do that at the end?
I was going to do that at the end.
At the end.
Salt, please.
Salt, please. Okay. Sea salt again. You know how we do on Flip That Food.
Give it a good
Liberal
healthy,
spritzing.
Liberal sprinkle, please.
All right. Any other seasonings that you want to add to this, Tina?
You know, normally I would, except for the breadcrumbs that we're using are an herb and garlic breadcrumb. So I thought a lot of flavor is going to come out of the breadcrumbs, so I don't know if we need to add any more at this time.
It's only one way to find out.
There you go. What do you think?
That is a lovely flavor to those breadcrumbs. And it's also a step saver. We use a little less seasoning.
There you go. Yeah, that actually tastes good.
I'm loving this breadcrumb, Tina.
All right, let's add the egg real quick.
Okay.
There you go. And again, we're composting, right, Rach?
Absolutely.
Composting.
Absolutely. No point eating healthy if we can't breathe healthy.
I love it. That looks good. That looks really good.
It looks good. And you know what? The layperson wouldn't know that this wasn't ground meat. But our viewers know because they're going to be just educationally savvy viewers. Wow, Tina.
Looking good. So now all we have to do is add some breadcrumbs. And the breadcrumbs is going to give it a little bit more consistency. And breadcrumbs, again, it's up to you. It's up to you how thick, how thin you want them to be. I like Rach being my assistant.
I like Tina being my assistant. A good cook and a good friend. This is a tandem right here, people. Stay tuned.
There you go. All right, well, Rachel's working on that. I'm going to check on the kale really quickly. And it actually looks great. Kale is looking really, really good. I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. Yeah, that's fine. That's low. There you go.
These breadcrumbs are just super flavorful, Tina. And we're just going to continue to add breadcrumbs slowly but surely until we get something that we can mold into a patty. Because it's all about the flipped burgers.
So once Rachel's done making the mixture, all we're going to do is put it into patties. So we have a little bit of water here. We're going to wet our hands and just form it into patties. And in this particular instance, Rachel and I talked about this. She likes patties. I prefer mine to be more slider size, a little bit smaller. You get some of the rougher edges that way.
I'm fine with any type of healthy meal. It's just good for variety because the sliders, as Tina mentioned, would be good for a party or something when you just want a little bite of something.
Sure.
You just show everyone the method that you're using.
Sure.
This is new to me. Sliders.
Dampen our hands, right? Grease is ready to go.
It is surely hot and popping in here.
There you go. I'm just going to take a little bit, about a handful. I'm going to roll it in the ball first. And then just pat it down, right? And I'm going to make sure there's enough grease. Just throw it in.
But let's just remind the viewers, this is hard, healthy olive oil.
Yes,
not
it
grease.
is. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said grease, right? No grease here.
When I think grease, I think bacon grease, and we're not having any pork fat up in here. Well, not today, because everything's okay in moderation. Do you need any help with these sliders, Tina?
If you want to help, great. No,
You know, I love to get my hands dirty, whether I'm tiling, a backsplash, or making sliders with a very good friend who's also a vegetarian cooking authority. I don't mind rolling up my sleeves, getting my hands dirty. Are we okay with the heat, Tina?
Yeah,
Or?
I think we're good.
Okay. These look amazing. I'm sure with a seasoning adjustment, this will easily turn into a sausage as well. What do you think, Tina?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's all about your seasoning, right? It's all about your seasoning.
Yeah, a lot of people are a little skeptical about vegetarian food, but don't be shy. Dive in, try it, and I guarantee you'll like it.
That's doing. Kale looks good. What do you think, Rach?
It looks amazing, Tina. It's so bright.
I know. I love it.
Did we want to add any special seasonings to it, or we just...
You know, you don't, because we're going to use the salsa. And the salsa is going to have everything you need in it. So you really don't need to add any salt, anything else to this.
Okay. She's a good cook and she's a genius. Okay, so we're adding store-bought salsa. How many ways are we going to use store-bought salsa today? I mean, it's endless. This is a great tip, guys.
I love it. I mean, I think there are so many things that you can do with salsa. It's ridiculous, right? Can you grab me a spoon, Rach?
I will be happy to grab you a spoon.
Oh, you know what? This one has onion on it. We'll
Okay,
just use this
onion
one
and
with
salsa.
Onion and garlic. There we
Okay.
go. So again, be as liberal, as generous as you'd like to be with the salsa. It's all up to your taste. And again, it's all up to your taste. Again, because I bought the mild form of salsa. I don't like hot. Rachel, you a hot fan?
I'm all over the map. All over the map.
She's better than me, guys, because I am not a hot fan at all. So I'm just going to add the salsa directly to the kale.
Hey, Tina, do you mind if I flip the burgers over?
Please.
Okay, fantastic. Wow, look at that crust.
It's looking good.
I love cooking with the cast iron pan. It gives your food such a wonderful crust and a texture and a crispness. You just can't get this from any other material besides cast iron. It's an essential. Essential kitchen element. I remember when my parents were divorcing. The biggest argument, well, everybody was happily divorced and still is. The biggest argument was who gets grandma's cast iron pan.
They're important.
They are super important because they last forever.
Absolutely they do. Well, we're about to eat then. I mean, honestly, so I'm going to mix the kale and the salsa together. Nothing crazy. Let that warm up just a little bit.
You know how normally you're doing a dish and you need paper towels? That is not the case.
Good. Yeah, they look good.
When you're doing veggie burgers. No paper towel needed because there's no excess oil or fat. And who wants excess oil and fat? I don't want it anywhere.
All right, veggie burger's done. Then all the eyes are off, which is important because I sometimes forget that. So.
Okay.
All right, so let's go ahead and put this in a pita.
Tina, can I, special request, Tina.
Absolutely.
Can we slightly warm the pita?
Oh,
Because it makes it so flexible and pliable, and it just really accentuates the texture.
How would you like to warm the pita?
I say we put it right here, save a dish,
There you go.
save the water, and it's just going to be extra amazing.
And let me turn this back on then. We'll wait for that to warm. That's good to go.
Okay, let's just get it all on a plate together for beauty purposes. Aesthetics.
There you go.
All right.
So I'm just going to cut my pita. Nothing crazy. Give you 2 even halves that you can stuff. And I'm going to go ahead and open it up. It's hot.
Woo! You see the steam pouring out of that pita?
I see that steam coming out of there. I felt it too.
You okay? You don't need first aid. Okay, you got it.
So we're going to go ahead and just throw 2 of these in here. 1 or 2, depending on how many you want. How many fit, right?
Yeah. No overload.
Yeah, you know what? Okay, we'll leave that. Same thing for the other side.
Wow. Wow, that is just the perfect portion right there.
I think so. And again, this is why I prefer the sliders as opposed to larger burgers. But you can make this in any sort of form you'd like, right?
Absolutely.
So, and you can also, you want to add lettuce, tomato, anything else you would originally put on your burgers. Go ahead and throw it in there. But, you know, this one I'm going to keep simple. We're just going to put it in the pita. We're going to drizzle it with blue cheese sauce and add some kale on the side, okay?
I would love to see this fully plated, Tina. I'm just so excited to eat this.
All right, give me 1 second.
Wow. Wow. Oh my gosh. Sorry, everything's in there warm and snuggy, like your toes and warm socks right out the dryer. That's what I'm thinking about when I see you do this.
There you go.
Wow.
All right, Rich.
Okay, wow, Tina, that is beautiful presentation right there. Oh, I can't wait to try this.
One more thing. Let's get the kale out.
All right.
And we will have a complete plate.
Wow. Oh my. The salsa just makes that so beautiful. Good stuff, Tina.
All right, viewers, I have slaved away on this. This is the best I can do. Let's see what Rachel thinks about kale and some mushroom veggie burgers.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tina. This looks amazing. There's 2 here. There's 2 friends.
There you go.
There's 2 pitas. There's only one thing to do at this point. What do you think, Tina? Let's just dig in here
All right.
and see what this goodness is all about. My God.
I know I made them, and I'm a fan of them, but I think Rachel likes them as well, yeah? You can't go wrong. Honestly, it's a veggie burger. The ingredients can be changed out. You don't like cashews, use pecans, use walnuts, use anything you want to. You just need a nut in there to make it a little heartier. But pretty simple. Throw it in the pan, fry it up on both sides, add a side to it. It's a meal, right, Rach?
I'm overwhelmed right now. And the blue cheese crumbles and the pita bread with those cashews she just mentioned, it's just over the top goodness. But I don't want to forget about this kale.
Oh yeah, you haven't tried the kale yet.
And I have to try the kale because I have to inform and educate the viewers on the beauty that is this kale.
And the simplicity, remember, she's gonna love it, and it was super, super simple. And remember again, guys, all it was store-bought fresh salsa. They pre-cut everything for me. And you just wither down your kale, put in a little bit of oil, a little bit of water, wither it down, add the salsa to your taste, and you serve it. Serve it warm. Make sure you serve it warm. Give the salsa just a little bit of time to heat up. So what's the verdict there, Rach? Sorry, I caught her a little too soon. Sorry about that. I think she loves it. Look, high five.
That's the verdict. I wanted to talk about fitness because there's a whole lot going on with adult onset diabetes and childhood obesity, and there are certain things we can do to counterbalance that. One is, of course, eating all the healthy foods you see prepared on Flip That Food. Another is exercise. When you're grocery shopping, because I know you're going to be grocery shopping to get all the lovely ingredients I showed you for this food, make sure you park far away from the store so that everything you do is counting towards a negative caloric balance. It's the best parking, more exercise, and you had to go to the grocery store anyway, so get a little extra walk out of it. And thank you so much for watching.